What's going on, everybody? John here. A little impromptu shoot. Today I decided that last minute I was going to purchase a header now that I've done the catback exhaust. I'm really enjoying that, but in order for me to get the most out of the setup, the best thing for me to do is to put a header on the car and then get it retuned. So with that being said, we are here at Dave's garage today, and I'm installing the header myself. If you're unaware, and if you're in the Southern Ontario area, Dave's garage is a Miata specialist. He's been working on Miatas forever. Certified Class A tech, who's been doing everything from NAs to NDs, you name it, from supercharged turbo installations to V8 swaps on various Miata platforms. So in any event, we've got my car here today, essentially disassembled at this point. So I'm just going to quickly go over, because there's a ton of videos out there on what to do in order to do a header install, but I'm just going to do a quick recap to kind of show you what you need to do. Alright guys, so I think it goes without saying that having a lift makes things super easy, but if you don't have a lift, then essentially you're going to want to secure the vehicle up on jack stands, and you're going to want to be able to still access the top of the vehicle. So you might not want to go too high to the point where you can't get into the engine bay. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to remove the bolts underneath the vehicle that connect the manifold to your mid pipe. Then there's going to be some brackets that you're going to want to remove. Okay, so that's the bracket from the factory manifold. You're going to want to remove that. You're also going to want to disconnect the oxygen sensor connector from the bottom, and it is connected into a connector down there, and then it is also held in place by this little white clip. All right, so once you've undone that, you're going to want to undo the mount bolt on this side. This is critical. So then you're going to come on the top of the vehicle. You're going to remove your strut bar, okay, or your shock tower brace. You're going to want to remove that. You're going to want to remove any associated, like your ECU, and if you have the sound tube, all that other stuff, you're going to remove it. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to remove a 10 mil bolt that holds this bracket in place right here to make this bracket easy to move. You can move this heater hose to make some more room. The next thing you're going to do, now that you've got that bolt out for the engine mount, is you are going to place a jack beneath the oil pan with a block of wood, and you're just going to want to lift it so that it just comes undone from the mount like that, to tilt the motor to give you a little more access to get the manifold out of here. Okay, you're going to want to undo the heat shield bolts. There's 3 10 mils that you're going to undo, and then once you undo those, you'll get access to the 5 14 mils that hold the manifold in place, and then you're going to undo those. I suggest having a swivel head socket and various extensions that you will need to get to these, because they're kind of in awkward spots. Okay, once you've undone those, the manifold comes right out of place, and voila, everything is exposed. Okay, so now I am going to show you the differences between the OEM manifold and the Skunk2. Alright guys, so as you can see here, pretty obvious difference between the Skunk2 and the OEM manifold. So the OEM manifold is what they call like a 4-2-into-1 design. However, it goes from your single outlet into a 2, and then immediately into your converter. So this is a very restrictive design, obviously, because you've got a converter here. This is going to really reduce the amount of flow that the exhaust is able to get out of the vehicle, right? Really restrictive. And then we have here the Skunk, okay? So this is a 4-in-1 design. As you can see here, the runners run directly into a merge collector. So there's a lot of debate out there between 4-to-1 or 4-2-to-1, or what they call a tri-Y. It is commonly associated that a tri-Y or 4-2-to-1 is going to give you more mid-range power, and then a 4-to-1 is going to give you more top end. Now, because I plan on using this primarily for track use, and I want to get as much top end as I can, because on the track, that's where I spend a lot of time, I'm opting to go with the 4-to-1. In addition to this, if I decide to supercharge down the road, the 4-to-1 is a better manifold or a better header to use. Now again, there's a lot of different brands out there. This is the Skunk. It's a pretty decent. The welds are pretty decent. I mean, it's a mass-produced manifold, guys. It's not, you know, this isn't a hand-built unit, but again, the welds look pretty good. Everything looks pretty tidy. The welds into the merge collector, pretty good. So, yeah, so what we're going to do now is I've already loosened the oxygen sensor, so we're going to transfer that into here. And Skunk has included gaskets, so they give you a brand new manifold gasket at the head, and then of course they give you a gasket down at the bottom where it connects to your mid-pipe. An oxygen sensor extension, I'm not sure if I'm going to need that. And then they give you this like little L thing, so this is going to be used, if you're not going to get a tune, you want to use this. But because I'm getting tuned, we're going to put the O2 sensor directly in the pipe in stream. Speaking with the guys at Fab9, they say that this is best to use, especially if you're not looking for carb compliance or you're not needing it, as opposed to this setup here. So that's what we're going to do, and hopefully with any luck. I mean, I'm probably going to get a check engine light just because of that, but I spoke with Jason at Fab9. He said not to worry, the tune will, you know, eradicate that. We're not going to have any issues there. So, all right, I'm going to install this, and it should be the exact reverse. And let's go. All right, guys, we're underneath the vehicle. I've already tightened up the manifolds to the mid-pipe. That's all good. We got the oxygen sensor extension connected because the OEM oxygen sensor is right there, and it's too far away from the plug. The next thing you're going to want to do is this guy. It's a clip, sits on this bracket up here. It's kind of hard to see, but in its original orientation it faces the manifold, and it actually slightly makes contact to the header. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take this out, and you're going to want to reverse its orientation on that clip so that you can run the wire on the other side of that bracket. See if I can get up there. Ugh, such a tight fit. Let me see. Yeah. Essentially that. Yeah, it's hard to get to, but that bracket right there, you're going to want to reverse the orientation and clip it in there in reversal. I'll show you. All right, as you can see, we've got the line connected. We've zip tied the excess to the mount here. And then if you can see kind of like up there, it's kind of hard. See if I can get a shot there. But we've reversed the orientation of that white clip, stay for the wire, and connected the oxygen sensor. Like I said, you're going to want to reverse the orientation of this guy because, yeah, otherwise it's going to get in the way and it will make contact to the manifolds. Yeah. So now that we have everything fastened, as you can see, that's the clip that I was referring to. You just reverse the orientation, and yeah, it just fits like that, and it doesn't make any contact. If anybody's wondering, that coolant hose, it's protruding no more out than it was in the reverse. So yeah, no, it's all good there. Again, everything is looking good. We've tightened the manifold. Next, we're gonna tighten that engine mount bolt, and then we should be good to go. All right, everybody, so the header has been installed. As you would have seen in the last clip, I did the header install over at Dave's garage. We've since buttoned everything up. I just kind of wanted to show you everything completed. So here is a cold start. I mean, it does sound a little bit loud and aggressive, but keep in mind I am in a parking garage in a closed space, so it's definitely a lot louder than it would be like if it were outside. That being said, I mean, there's definitely a very audible rumble that comes out of this, but again, considering we have no cats, no header, and it's literally header, like exhaust ports from the cylinder head all the way back to a muffler with no restrictions. So all things considered, and even based on my experience with other cars, like other 4-cylinders like Hondas and Volkswagens, I mean, you name it, like this actually doesn't sound too bad at all. So moving along. So everything has been reinstalled, guys. We've got, obviously, the shock brace is back in where it belongs. There's the header there. It's actually, wish I had a better light, but it's turned into a really nice kind of bronzy color. So I torqued it, obviously to spec. Like you'll see here, you can see the paint lines. I always paint mark everything once I torque it. You know, I'm just a bit crazy that way, but my experience has taught me that doing that has always been a little helpful, especially when there's a possibility that with expansion, contraction, and heat, you know, that could back off. So when I drove the vehicle back from Dave's, I took it for a pretty long drive after I had buttoned everything up, and then rechecked my nuts on the manifold. And believe it or not, they actually needed to be retightened. Now, I don't recommend retightening everything when it is hot, because everything is expanded. So when you do that, everything will contract, and when it contracts, there's always a possibility something is going to be over tightened at that point. So basically what I do is I wait until everything cools down. You don't have to wait until it's bone cold, but at least not hot. So I waited until everything was cool to the touch where I could physically touch things, that it didn't, you know, it didn't burn my hand, but it wasn't exactly hot either. And then I tightened everything up, or re-torqued to the torque values, and then I paint marked it, and I haven't walked or moved since. So anyways, there you have it. That's the install in a nutshell. After I had taken it for a drive, no engine lights, no codes, no nothing. So, you know, everything seemed to be okay, but I already had the Versatune N1 tune on here. You know, I didn't really drive it very hard with the tune that was on it. I have since put the updated tune from 5.9 accommodating the header. So anyways, there you have it.